Hey guys, today I wanted to show you how to use the levels in Photoshop. I currently use Photoshop CS5 on a Mac. You can actually get a downloadable version, a free version of it, which lasts 30 days from Adobe.com. If you just visit Adobe.com and find Photoshop CS5 and click try instead of buy, and you'll be able to download it from there for the 30 days. So if you haven't got it, give it a try. That's what I use for all my editing, and see how you go. Alrighty, so I'm just going to open up a photo that I've prepared earlier. This is one of the first shots that I shot with my 5D Mark II. So I was really excited when I got that camera and went out to Terrigal to try it out. So it was a reasonably good night for shooting. There was a nice stormy sky and some lightning around and whatnot, and this is just one of the shots that I shot on that night. So I'll just open it up. So today, I'm going to primarily use the levels tool, which is located over on the right hand side of your screen there. One of the things, before I start, one of the things I usually do as well is create a nice neutral background for behind my image, because I don't like seeing the other photos or my desktop picture or things like that. It's just a bit of a thing that I like, and you can do this quite simply by pushing the F key. So F for Freddy, and if you push that, you get a nice neutral background. So that way you can work on your image and not have distracting casts or whatnot. So that's how I always start. And okay, so if we start by using the levels, you can go down here and you see the circle that's half black and half white. If you just click on that, these are all your different adjustments that you can do. But today we're just going to use the levels, which is quite a simple tool to use, quite effective as well. So we'll click on that. And what I usually do is just create, depending on the image, just create a little bit of a contrast. So you've got your white point and your black point up the top, and if you move those in together, you'll see what it actually does. So the black point, obviously, if you slide it across, it darkens the image. If you slide the white point across, it lightens the highlights, so your shadows and your highlights, and then the one in the middle is your midtones. So what you can do, you can adjust it to your preference. So just for display purpose, I'm just going to do it a little bit there. Don't worry if you think the foreground's too dark. Now we're going to lighten that up a little bit using the levels tool as well. So another thing that we should do is just double click on the name over here, and you can actually edit the actual name, so you know what you've done with this particular layer. So that's just an overall contrast there. Now, one of the other things I'm going to do with this image is darken the sky. So we've got this nice sky. We can make it a little bit more moodier by using the levels. So we go down again, click on your levels. It'll create a new layer there in your layer palette, which is this box over here. And the good thing about using layers is that it's non-destructive editing. So if we do things through these levels or through the layers, and we can adjust them by deleting individual edits that we've done. So we've got our contrast here, we've got our new one, which you can rename So just a quick double click on there, darken sky, enter. We'll click back on our mask here, which is the little white box, they call it a mask. Okay, and we use another tool called our brush tool, which is over on the left hand side here. Looks like a paintbrush. If you just click on that, or you can push the letter B for brush on your keyboard, which is really handy if you know some of the shortcuts. See, so we just hit B. You can find out the shortcuts if you just hover your mouse over the particular tool you're after, and you see a little bracketed B after it says brush tool, and that's all you do. So, for example, the one above it's your healing brush. If you just hit J, like so, it'll go to your healing brush, and so on. Okay, so we get our paintbrush, and what we do with our paintbrush is it allows us to paint in the effect, or alternatively paint out the effect. So you can hide different parts of your image that you don't want the effect to be put on. In this case, we want to darken the sky only, so we don't want to darken the foreground anymore. Actually, later in the tutorial, I want to lighten up the foreground, so we can do that then. But what we do, we go back up to our histogram up the top here, and because we want to darken, we'll grab our black point and just slide it across a little bit, and just watch your picture as you do this, and you'll see it darkening up. And depending on your preference, will depend on how much you want to darken it. Now at this point, don't pay any attention to your foreground. That's gone really dark, but what we're going to do with our brush tool is paint the effect out of there, which will just keep it in the sky. Okay, so we go over to make sure we've clicked on our mask. On the right hand side there, our darken sky mask. And we'll make sure we're painting with black. So black. Over this side, you've got black and white. We want to make sure that colour's black, which you can do if it's not black. You can push the letter D for dog, and it'll actually make it black and white, the two colours over there, which are your masking colours. So, and also X will swap between the two. So if you want to paint out or you want to paint in, black will actually paint out the effect, white will paint in the effect. So you can switch between painting out and in with the X key, so X for X-ray. Okay, so we want to make sure that it's black on top so we can paint out the effect. And all you simply do is get your brush tool, so B for your brush if you haven't got it already, and you can increase or decrease the size of the brush, the overall radius of the brush, by using your bracket keys on your keyboard. So left bracket key will make the brush smaller, the right bracket key will make the brush larger. So at this stage, a pretty big brush will do nicely. And we've also got up the top, you've got some options with your brush tool along the top here. You want to make sure if you click on this area here, this little drop down arrow, that you've got a soft edged brush as opposed to a hard edged brush, because the advantage of the soft edged brush, it'll blend nicely into the sections that you want to keep, as well as the sections that you don't. So we'll get into it. So we want to paint the effect out. So we've got our black selected, want to paint the effect out of the foreground. So you just click and drag, and you'll see the foreground lightening. Now it looks like it's lightening back up, but it's actually just lightening up to the tone that we had it in the first place. Okay, and you'll notice that our black is actually staying the dark that we wanted before. And you'll notice over here on the right hand side, you've got your layer mask, which has got your black, so that's the bit that's covered. The white is allowing the effect to show through. So you can check it on and off with this little eye just to the left of it. So if you click on that, it'll actually show you the change. It'll show you a before and after change, and you can make it. You notice your histograms change. You can make it a little bit darker as well. See how because the foreground is masked out, you can change it. I mean, you can go really crazy and change it really dark, and it won't affect the foreground. So we'll just darken it up a little bit more. Okay, so we can do another levels layer, and this time change the name. We're going to lighten the foreground. Push enter. Exactly the same way, except we want to focus on the foreground. Make sure we've clicked on our mask. So we want to lighten our foreground. So we'll just drag this back, and again, just focus on the foreground. Don't worry about the sky, because we're going to mask it out. Okay. Just sort of dragged it back there. Okay. Get our brush if you haven't already. Beef brush. Make sure it's a soft edged one. And now, might even make it a little bit smaller because it's a little bit big for up this area. And we're just going to paint the sky out again. Okay, so this is taking us back to our previous layer where we darkened the sky. And you'll notice the foreground is lightening up. We're getting a nice contrast overall, which makes your image pop a little bit more. Okay, so that's our done our overall contrast. We've darkened our sky and lightened our foreground. We've lightened the whole foreground, but on different shots you can single out specific areas to lighten and whatnot. So if you've got like a nice big rock or something that you want to draw the attention of the viewer into, you can lighten it up and be a bit more accurate about it. You can zoom in to the image and make it a little bit more precise, whereas we've just done sort of a rough mask around. But yeah, you can zoom in, and you can zoom in by using the Command plus key, and that'll actually zoom in. If you keep clicking it, and zoom out is the Command minus key, so we can just zoom out as required. So if we go through what we've actually done, you can hold down and you can click off. If you hold it down and drag across all the eyes, you undo you turn off all the effects that we've just done, and we go back to our original. So that was the one we started with, and then we did a little bit. We'll check this one back on the contrast. So we see a bit of overall contrast, and then we do the darkened sky, which was the next one. So we darkened the sky up a little bit, and then the foreground, we lightened it up a little bit. So we'll check that one back. So it adds a nice little feel to the photograph and really makes those colours come to life. Okay, so that was overall difference. Quite a nice effect. So yeah, just a quick one. Hope you enjoyed that one, and yeah, I'll be putting some more up as we get further. Alrighty, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.